I got a job through my friend Oscar, who took care of the carnival gig also. But in this case, it was at Delfina's restaurant, a couple blocks walk from my house. He'd been working there for quite a few years. I popped in there and helped him in the back doing stuff just because I live nearby. I went in the back and helped him move sacks of potatoes or what have you. Made sodas on big orders, but all for free or for a free sandwich or something. The owner didn't care. Although he didn't care about that sort of camaraderie, but it was a very clean place, and a pride for the owner, Ignacio, was very, very serious about the joint as a restaurant. And it was my first job. It's so long ago. Delfina's Restaurant, I guess I can say, is the name of it. Delfina's Restaurant. Started working there under the table. I guess the statute of limitations are passed there as well. Started working there, getting paid cash money under the table. The minimum wage had just turned to $3.20 an hour, and I was getting $3.20 an hour under the table. So that was like getting maybe $4 an hour or something. I thought I was doing pretty well. And it was a fun job, making food, short order cooking, easy stuff. Got to use a deep fryer, all these great things. Had to mop the floor and stuff and do a lot of other things, sweep the parking lot. But I had a big epiphany about work, jobs. I had a big epiphany about work. And one day, as I was foretold by my friend Oscar before he went to the Army, as was foretold, one day the guy who was the weekend manager there, he would one day trust that I knew how to do the job, and then he would disappear to get change at the bar across the street. If I didn't make that clear, he'd go get change and he wouldn't come back for hours and hours. I was warned about this would happen. That day came in like 2 months. Which is a plus. He trusted that I could run the place. One day he rings the register, pulls out a 20, looks to me and says, "Guillermo, I'm going to get change." There it was. I knew exactly what was happening. And off he went. And there I was alone, puttering around. A baseball team came in because of the newly refurbished park. They had all these softball leagues and all these other things. An entire softball team came in is what they were. All these college-age guys. There was well over a dozen of them. They all came in. They all placed orders, cash money, hamburgers, fries, steak sandwiches. We made milkshakes that were popular, but they were all scooped and raw and scooped and done by hand. It was a giant order. I took the order very happily and I thought I was doing pretty well. Hey, you did all this stuff. Warned them that the milkshakes were going to come last because they were handmade. No problem. All that good stuff. Took all the orders, took all the money, got that out of the way, and then went and cooked it all. And as it was all cooking, and not in a frenzy, I thought it was pretty controlled, but time seemed to definitely slow down because I was on the verge, I realized at one point, of all these things happening all at once with all the cooking going on around me of various things. And time literally slowed down. I realized, wow, I didn't sign on board for this. That guy's not here. Should I be doing all this stuff? Should I be having to do all this stuff? This is pretty hard. Anything could go wrong. A million things could go wrong right now. Those guys could get really mad and yell at me, and it's not my fault. I was for sure 14, 15. And I had an epiphany right there. I said, well, I guess this is what work is. This is what having a job is. Something like this happens and I can't walk away. Ignacio was so nice and let me work here, and I can't walk away from his company while I'm sitting here. So that's what I'll do the best I can, finish it. And believe it or not, it all went off without a hitch. And from that day forward till I'm 51 years old now, that not a stressful time at work. If that starts to appear, I totally think of this time back when I was 14 and the baseball team was there getting all this food, and I could have left. I should have quit. I could have quit. But I didn't because I realized, no, it ain't that hard. Probably I shouldn't, but it really wasn't that hard. I can figure this out. If anything goes wrong, I can figure that out. So that was an easy job, though, as a kid job went. Had many hilarious adventures there. Nothing worth retelling in terms of a lot of drunks and stuff. Let's see. I was nicknamed Gringo because I didn't speak Spanish, and the bar across the street was mostly Spanish-speaking guys, and they'd all come in drunk and want tacos, and they'd speak in terrible drunken Spanish. I could barely understand that. And, oh, they're constantly gringo, and they holler and scream and yell. But I also knew it was a cultural thing. They weren't mad at all. But the screaming and hollering was pretty intense. And some people saw that. They go, hey, are you okay? Do you need help from this guy? Like, no, he's fine. he's just screaming and mad about, dos tacos, gringo, pinche pendejo. They didn't care. Which leads me to my next big job, where I was delivering downtown at the only catering company in downtown LA for a good while. Some people might have delivered, but we catered anything from a sandwich to food for 300 within a half hour sometimes. We were great. Italian, American food. I worked as a delivery guy through a friend from school, got me the job. But a year into it, they asked me to become a manager because they were investing in this new thing called a computer. We used to write all the orders by hand, and everything was written by hand, and then you wrote two of them real quick, one here, and we wrote them on big notepads. So we wrote everything twice in markers, really large writing. And for the cooks, and we got it all going, we prepared the orders, checked it all off. The cooks kept theirs, that copy, we kept ours. That went with us through the whole journey, had all these orders done. It was really great, but time consuming, and then we needed that to tabulate the bill. So those papers had to be chased around by whoever was doing the billing, making sure they were getting all the food right, running back and making handbills. Then we got a computer, and they hired a new guy, and that guy was me. It was between me and a guy, I could say his name, me and a guy named Jared Moses. And Jared Moses did not get the job because it was told to me later by the Italian brothers who ran the joint, well, we gave you the job because you're wearing glasses, because there's a smarter guy and a computer, and so we thought I'd get the guy with glasses. That's what the accountant suggested. So that's why I got the job over Jared Moses, because I had glasses, to run this new thing called a computer. It had a dot matrix printer with this tractor feed, and we type up these orders, and I had a weekend's worth of training, and then we started making our orders. It was great. It could tabulate all the days. It was like a cash register, but it was a personal computer. Fantastic. We still wrote everything by hand really big, but I became the manager. I took the orders, wrote the orders big, and put them into the computer after that. And then we'd eventually print this thing, which took forever. The lag between putting it in, by the time it came out, was pretty big. Sometimes the whole entire order would be finished while we're waiting for the printout to print. And here's where the stress part comes in. This place was all run, speaking of baseball, matter of fact, baseball from the Delfinas, it just tied together in my head. These guys were all jocks. The brothers who owned the restaurant / catering company were super duper softball guys. They were heads of this league, presidents, the whole California League. It was a whole big giant thing. And they had all jock type guys working for them of all different ages. Some actors sprinkled in there too, but even the actors were jocks. Everyone was into sports, not a sports guy. It was held against me every day and every moment through sexual epithets and racial epithets that I cannot repeat here, because this was a very rough and tumble place, and that was the culture. Whatever your ethnicity were, from black to white to Asian to Latin, and then any subsets of those various things, there was a racial epithet just for you that was repeated to you every 15 minutes by some other jock or guy as you worked, as you did a good job, if you did a bad job. Hey, idiot, great job. Hey, you idiot, what are you doing? No matter what you did, there was a terrible epithet tied to it, good or bad. I never worked like that before. Matter of fact, I came from a neighborhood where that was the preferred mode of joking around, and I couldn't wait to get out of that situation growing up, because I really hated that sort of talk and that sort of joking. But here it was a pretty good job, and I got moved up pretty quick, and here I was in school, and I'm sitting down now, I don't have to drive my car, and typing on this brand new machine. Nobody has one. I'm one of the first people in my circle of friends to work on a computer. So I put up with it, but it was very stressful, because going back to this lag, you get the order going and the lag on the printer, you just sit there and you'd have a guy nose to nose with you. Another Latin guy, for instance, Trujillo, you stupid effing racial epithet, you over the border, you this, you did, and the owners were all for it. They were all laughing. They're big, huge, fat guys, big, fat Italian guy, a skinny brother Italian guy, like this guy was Mark Twain at a lecture. They're howling. Trujillo is a bald-headed, you know what? I was losing my hair early on. But within this and all this stuff, I thought about, the using the computer is a good thing. I saw the good in it. And I always went back to the old softball team that I can do this. It was just a different kind of softball team that was weighing on me now. Not a bunch of food, still food orders, but now the team was like, literally nose to nose with me, cursing me. And I thought I could handle that too. And that job really helped me for everything else in life too.